What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we're having a look at Clash BONNEY, finally getting a chance to make this video for you guys. Unfortunately, I was out today, so I was unable to make this video on release, but here we are. We've got 4 different teams taking on this content. The first team that we have here is utilizing V1 Katakuri as the captain. Now, looking at this, at face value, you don't need to use Katakuri as the main captain here. Uta is carrying pretty hard here, along with the Law and the Doflamingo. That combination together is very potent if you're able to do a significant amount of damage against stage 4, which is Sabo. You just do a lot of damage, you stack all of your buffs on that stage, and if you can overkill as much as you possibly can, and you'll see that when we do our combo hits on stage 4 versus Sabo, we are performing our hits in such a way where we want to get the enemy's HP very low, and then hitting as hard as we can with our last hit, which is what we do here with Robin and Jinbei. Robin and Jinbei, to be honest, they could be switched out for a lot of other characters, but they're just a really solid unit to just do what we need them to do. They give us a base attack boost, which partners really well. You could switch Robin Jinbei out for a color affinity boost if you really wanted to do something like that as well. Rockstar carries really hard versus Sabo, getting rid of the block slots, gets rid of attack down, gets rid of despair, gets rid of the enemy barrier. He's just like a god tier unit for that Sabo stage. And as I said, we're just doing our combo hits in a very specific fashion so that we can hit really hard. We actually hit a good or a great with Doflamingo on that second last tap, just to ensure that Robin Jinbei hit really hard on that final hit. And then when we reach the last stage, because we've got such significant overkill damage, we can use V1 Law to allow our specials to bypass enemy defensive effects, and then use the Doflamingo to carry us to victory with an overkill special. Something that we haven't done in a very long time, but it's very satisfying that we can do it. Katakuri can be switched out for anything else that is a cerebral focus captain, that can allow you to get around block slots. It's just a really easy way to use Katakuri. My man, Mr. Slam Jam. Looking forward into the next team here is going to be using Alber as the captain, and Alber's really good for this as well, mainly because he just resists a lot of really annoying debuffs. Like, he resists the paralysis on himself, he resists like special reverse, which can happen in this quest as well. He just resists special bind on himself, so you can use his special to deal with the special bind. Like, he's just a really good unit to use in this team scenario right here. And because we're using Alber, it's pretty much a no-brainer, utilizing versus Kaido alongside him as well. And of course, we also have the Marco, which allows us to get around the paralysis here on this stage. And then you'll see that we do have this Kaku. Now, Kaku's pretty cool because we can actually use him on stage 4 to get around attack down. But then by using Kaido's special, which not only gives us the massive attack and orb boost, it will fully charge our character specials, allowing us to use Kaku's special again. And that's another reason why Jinbei, this treasure map rare recruit Jinbei, is also really good, because he's a powerhouse unit, so he just works with the team. But his special allows us to remove barrier by 2 turns, and because there is 2 turns of barrier on stage 4 and also on stage 5, it just allows you to get around it pretty comfortably. I will say though that in terms of the damage potential on the final stage, it is actually kind of tight. And I'm looking back at this clip, I actually don't remember if I activated the versus effect of Kaido. If I didn't, definitely launch that versus effect so that you can get increased damage taken, and then it's an absolute free victory from that point onwards. Even this versus the Sabo stage here, it felt like the damage was a little tighter than I was kind of expecting it to be, and especially on the last stage as well. The final tap of Kaido actually does a lot of damage for us, which is really good. So the higher the final tap, the more comfortable the victory will be. But even without like a super high final tap, this team should be able to get the job done, just considering the amount of Wano slots that you get on this team. And looking back at it, I don't actually remember if I used that versus effect. But as I said, if you do have that versus effect, which you should, considering the amount of Wano slots you're consuming with Alber as the captain in this quest, then yeah, this is a pretty free victory with this team. Alright, so now this team here, I was not the original creator of this team. This goes out to Roshinante, which is a Japanese content creator. I made a tweet about this team earlier on in the day, the fact that V1 Kaido was actually able to get the job done in this quest. Now, I will say there is a bit of a caveat with this team, and that's the fact that it's not like the most efficient way to get through this content, surprisingly enough. You know, a lot of people think V1 Kaido and immediately think that, you know, it's going to be a super fast clear, but to be honest, it's like just as efficient as a clear as the previous two teams that you would have seen in this clip here. And another thing about this team as well is that it is very important that you get a lot of HP on this team. And I will say both the Kaido captains you're seeing in this team here are level 150. My Blackbeard is level 150. My Whitebeard is level 120. And I also had to level my Rockstar up to like a level 130. And yeah, you need a lot of HP investments because of the way that this quest works. Now, it's not listed on the side here, but the deeper you go in this content and the more turns you're actually taking on these stages, there's more debuffs being inflicted to you here, including like that pain debuff, which is really, really bad, and basically any healing mechanic you have is going to be taking away your HP. So you need to have quite a lot of HP, and you'll see that towards the end of this clip here, the amount of HP that we have at the end, I think we have less than 1,000 HP when we actually get the clear in this stage, because any healing mechanic, including auto heal, actually takes away HP due to the debuffs in this quest. And there's also a lot of ship bind in this quest too, so the Hold'em on this team is a really key unit because he allows you to get around barriers and stuff like that. And Hold'em does have the potential ability of ship bind resistance, allowing us to get around those mechanics. And of course, on the final stage, we've got Blackbeard, which allows us to do some slot change, as well as the Hawkins support on Kaido to do even more slot change. And then we do have Whitebeard and Blackbeard. Those two characters are providing pretty significant health cuts against the enemy. Surprisingly, there's no normal attacks only in this quest in general, which feels like a mainstay in most content that releases. So it is a little surprising that that is not happening. But, you know, it is nice that you get more content to play in general, which is cool. And then finally, this team is going to be the last team of the video. Shout out to Revo in my own Discord, as well as the One Piece Treasure Crew subreddit Discord for his team idea. Of course, links to Roshinante and Revo will be down below in the video description. And this team is interesting as it utilizes Carrot and Uta hybrid. It's a really solid team, and if you do have the dinghy ship completely maxed out to get you additional -1 cooldown, which totals to -2 cooldown from the ship alone, that is a more efficient way to clear the content, and it means that you don't have to do that really odd one turn of stall that I did at the start of this quest here. And it is very particular in terms of the units that you're attacking with as well. I mean, to be honest, if you do have all the cooldowns that you need, you don't need to do additional weird taps here. But essentially, we're using Uta to just give us buffs on multiple different stages, and of course, Uta with her captain ability, dealing with paralysis and special reverse, so you don't even have to deal with those debuffs at all, which is fantastic. Crocodile's a really solid unit as he allows you to get around Despair and Attack Down, which occur on Battle 4, and due to the multiple barriers on stage 4 and 5, Carrot's captain ability allows you to bypass those, which is really cool. And using the Doflamingo support on Jack means that we get Chain Boundary and Chain Addition when we reach the last stage, and Uta's attack and orb boost means that Croc and Hiyori through barriers are going to hit extremely hard. So that's going to wrap it up from me. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.
嬉しかったですか？